Hi, Sam.
Hello.
We're going to talk about your bike today.
Yeah.
A budget build.
It is a budget build, yeah.
Why did you name and call your bike, your build, your pride and joy, a budget build? It's the first Harley you built.
Yeah, this is the first Harley Davidson I've ever built, and it's basically, the idea behind it is we wanted to do a whole series about making a bike if you don't really have a budget to make a bike. While we were tidying up the workshop, I managed to find most of the bits you can see on this bike right now. It's basically built out of all parts that the old man didn't need on other projects.
Mm-hmm. So what is your very tight budget? Can you tell us
Well, the budget started off as £5, and that went straight out the window when I bought a fuel tap for it. And then from there, it's just spiraled out of control, basically.
Okay. So what budget somebody can expect if they decide to build a budget Harley Davidson Sportster?
I think the first thing people have got to look at if they want to build a custom bike is they've got to find a donor bike. So they've got to find a bike with basically everything they need to get going. And then from there they can change the style, they can change the way it looks, they can change colours.
Question then, if we're talking about budget and we're talking about how much it costs, is it better to buy a donor bike or better to buy parts in the boxes? Which will be more budget?
Me personally, I would be a lot more comfortable starting off with a whole motorcycle. One, because you can make sure everything works before you get started. And the first thing we normally do is run the engines, and if the engines are a good tight engine, then it's worth spending the money on building a custom bike out of it.
Not always your dad does. Sometimes he forgets.
I think that's probably why he blows up a lot of engines, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if you have a budget and you're looking at spending maybe £3,000 to £4,000 on a donor Harley Davidson like this, which is a Sportster 1200 4-speed.
1200?
Yeah. If you've got that kind of money and then an extra couple of grand to spend on customizing it, you could easily have a custom bike built in your garage for £6 grand, I reckon. A lot of people underestimate when they take it to a custom bike shop to be built, they underestimate how much the labour costs are, because you're not only probably paying a little bit extra for the parts, but you're also paying for someone else to stand there and build you a bike for you.
Definitely,
and
definitely.
If you can take a little bit of time to learn things yourself, and if you're interested in welding and you're interested in customising things yourself, like you, then with some time and effort, you can learn, as long as you're safe about it, you don't do any bodge jobs and you get the correct advice, you can actually build a bike yourself in your garage. Yeah.
Did you build the frame or you just found it?
Yeah, I found it at the back of the workshop, and the old man basically hardtailed this frame, and he's actually going through a phase of putting a lot fatter tyres in the backs of all of his bikes at the moment. And this frame was designed for a skinnier rear tyre, so
it is a custom frame. Actually, if you are ordinary person who don't have an old man who builds frames and throws them in the back of a workshop, starting with a frame, you need to find somebody to build you a frame or build it yourself, which is
this one's half and half.
From the beginner.
This one is the front half of the frame is.
That was Simon, by the way. He can't be behind the camera. He plays the ball now. What were we talking about? Simon distracted us again.
Just
once again about starting with the frame. So, like, if you don't have a workshop full of parts, basically you are stuck with what you just bought, or you have to buy parts that you want to be different from your donor bike.
The most popular thing that we've done at Mint is we've taken the original frames, and the first half of the frame from the headstock the whole cradle that hugs the engine is all original. We keep that original, and that matches with all of the paperwork and keeps the bike legit. And then we cut off the rear of the frame, and instead of running suspension, we hardtail the back of the frame in a jig. So the jig's super handy because we have all the original measurements, so we can keep the bike handling as it should, looking as it should, and then hardtail the frame. And then we can choose whether we want to extend the frame or shorten the frame, depending on the look of the
Did you shorten the frame?
This is completely original. So the wheelbase and the wheel axles are as original. So it's just been hardtailed.
Okay, moving from the frame, moving to the engine. You said it's 1200 engine. You haven't changed anything to it. It was
I haven't even painted it. It's as is. It had some oil leaks and a few other issues. It needed servicing. Fixed all those problems, serviced the motor, new set of plugs, and it is as it was when it was removed from this frame to be hardtailed. So it's
it was rubber mount before.
No, this is a 95, so it's been solid mounted from the start.
Okay, so you didn't have to change that either.
And all of the extra parts you see on the bike, like the fuel tank, the oil tank, there were the exhausts, the footboards, we put to a vote from our followers. So we gave them some options like different fuel tank, the same style but different paint jobs, 2 different types of oil tank and exhaust, whether we wanted guards or wraps, and they voted on what this bike should have. So what you see with the style of this bike is what the results of those votes.
It's a little bit of Frankenstein.
Yeah, there was a few things that are a bit mix and match and some colour clashes and that, where the votes went a funny way, but we just went with it, and it was great to like get other people involved in the project.
Is there anything you would change now after you are not tied to the votes anymore?
Well,
I just had it right here and it's cold already. I don't have COVID.
Well, one of the biggest things that was a letdown was the Springer front ends are super popular, and a lot of the votes and a lot of the followers wanted to run a Springer front end, and this being a budget build,
you can't have a
they're over £1,000.
Yes,
we didn't have one laying around, so I think in the future it would be really nice to put a Springer front end.
Yes, that would change it, wouldn't it? Anything else?
Well, I'm looking forward to riding it because I've only ridden it around the car park so far. I think it's going to be a success, and it's going to be a lot of fun actually taking this out and seeing what it can do.
So you build it to yourself to ride?
Yeah, and we're going to use it as a shop bike. We're going to go out and get some milk on it, and we're going to use it to, do some stunts, do some filming. And,
really?
Yeah, just keep it at the shop.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. The budget bike. It's a very cool air filter. Yeah,
that air filter has like a glass window, so you can actually see the carburetor working on the inside, and you can see the fuel being squirted into the cylinders.
Did you bought it or found it in the shop?
Oh, it's just found in the shop. It was something the old man bought and put on a bike. He didn't like the look of it, so it got thrown in a box, and I found it about a month ago, and it fit straight on the bike, which is nice.
It is budget bike, it's just for you, because you found all those parts. Yeah. Air filter alone costs.
Yeah, they're quite expensive.
Yes.
What we've done in the last episode of the series is we've actually done a breakdown of how much these parts have cost us in the past, because I know they're free to me to put them on the bike right now, but at some point in the past we've actually had to pay for all these parts. So we've done a breakdown of how much all these parts have cost us. Oh, that's brilliant. Watch Perry Brothers episode if you want to find out exactly how much that bike costs to you and how much it would cost for somebody who would have to buy everything and can't dig it out. It's so good, it's so loud as well. Yep, got the horn there. Horn. And then this is the start button. And this is the start button? Yep. Jesus, that is brilliant. And then that's your high and low beam for your headlight. Yeah, so good. No speedo, no indicators. I will be putting a speedo on this. Oh, you will, okay. Yeah, I have one. It's just that there is a number of things that haven't been finished, like some of the wiring still needs finishing, it needs tidying up. We actually have a ridiculous sissy bar that's going on the back with a golden eagle built into it.
Okay.
So that should...
Why do you want to put a ridiculous sissy bar on?
So that should annoy a few people, seeing that on the back.
So that project wasn't to build it like stylish, pretty, bang-on looking Harley. It was more of like, what will happen if we'll chuck some parts together?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
There was absolutely no plan for this motorcycle whatsoever, even down to the footboards. We didn't have foot pegs.
That is an unusual decision.
Because we've used up all the foot pegs, we put footboards on.
What are they off?
They're off a Fat Boy Harley Davidson, yeah.
Okay.
And it has a motocross rear lever off of my KTM motocross bike.
Okay. That should be interesting to ride. Comfortable though?
It's quite hard to change gear actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, so you just go in.
I might have to put a hand shift.
Just go all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I might have to put a hand shift on it because it's not very easy to change gear.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It needs...
Because of the pads?
Yeah, I think it's
comfortable
the position.
if you're cruising.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I think it's the position because normally your foot is on a peg. So it rotates
oh my God,
on the peg.
Like how you go down the gear.
Yeah.
I can't go down.
But yeah, there is some things that need to
There are some crazy decisions here, like totally crazy decisions with that bike. But anyway, if somebody would decide to build it not just for fun, wants to build for real a budget bike that kind of like it's more functional.
Yeah.
It still would be the same kind of price range because you can have normal foot pegs instead of them.
A lot of the voting went the way that I didn't think it was going to go. You know, like for example, I wanted to run a black fuel tank, but the votes were, it was a unanimous decision to run that tank.
I think I voted for that one as well because I wanted to piss everyone off.
Yeah. So there's lots of things that were kind of out of my control, but it's all good fun, and I think it's quite entertaining to watch on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's all for your entertainment.
Yeah.
People build bikes to entertain.
And then I'm going to go on there and lie and say it's very comfortable to ride.
Oh, you're going to lie?
No, I'm joking. I'll be honest about it.
How did you came up with this idea of like building a bike like this? Because now I understand it's not just a budget bike, it's more of like fun budget project.
With the whole COVID thing and there being like big lockdowns where people are sat at home with not much to do, and we thought it would be, one, a really good way to tidy up the workshop because we had all these parts laying around the shop and we needed to clean the shop. And also it's trying to inspire people to get some of their unfinished projects done. Because there's so many people out there that have bikes in the garage and they have all the motivation to go out and buy the parts, and they sit around the shop, they haven't finished their projects. So this was kind of an inspiration to them to say, look, if you've got bits laying around the shop, you can actually get something together and go out and ride it and have a good time.
Always finish your build. To everyone who's watching this and have a bike standing in the workshop or like laying in parts, finish it. That's pretty good, actually. I didn't know that. I thought you were just having fun. I'll try in the first gear, why not?
You don't sound very enthusiastic about it.
No, I mean, like, I'll probably need to do some milk runs.
Yep.
Eventually.
Yeah, too right, yeah.
So, why not? I rode your dad's build. I survived that.
Maybe I'll ride it first, and then, yeah, if it's safe, then I'll let you ride it.
Okay. Thank you for that. Your dad would never do that. Now, I would like to hear it, but I need to place the camera in a different place. You got some fuel during the fuel crisis.
Yeah, luckily. Do you want me to start, or are you going to do it?
It's not going to explode.
No, shouldn't do.
Shouldn't?
No. Key?
A key? Oh, it's always to find a key somewhere. Oh, that's interesting. I had to show that.
I just taped the other key on so I didn't scratch the frame.
Have you seen that? The key adjustment. All right then.
Probably needs a bit of choke because it's going to be a bit cold.
So you just pull that.
Yep.
Is it in the right gear, you think?
It's in neutral.
You sure?
Well.
How do you know?
We'll find out in a minute.
Oh, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's because it's got the 1200. You're used to the 883.
No, I'm 1200 now as well.
Yeah, but I think your clutch is lighter because it's an 883 clutch.
No,
is that right?
Because it's a nice clutch.
Unlike this. I felt your clutch and it's like so nice to use.
You know those exercising things for your wrists that you need? Forget that.
You just need the clutch like that.
All right, and then push the button, yeah? And sure. Push and hold longer. It doesn't like something.